Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
The National Toy Hall of Fame has announced their inductees, and I remember you brought this up, weeks ago, months ago, the nominees for the National Toy Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And, as I sit here and I look at the inductees who actually got inducted and who got the shaft, this is probably a bigger shaft than what happens to rock stars in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is baloney. Now, I don't want to take anything away from who got in. Baby Nancy, which was a doll from the late 60s, the first African-American doll with the first African-American haircut, from what I was reading on Wikipedia about Baby Nancy, because I didn't play with dolls as a kid.
Well, and if you did, seriously, have you ever heard of Baby Nancy?
Right.
Okay.
And so, unless, I'm sure some people have, if you were, a child in the late 60s or the 70s.
I didn't play with dolls, but I know who Barbie is. Yeah. I didn't play with dolls, but I know who Raggedy Ann is.
Well, those two are probably in, right? I know who Barbie is for sure. I would bet a lot. Sidewalk chalk got in because it was the first expression of art, they said. And
Sidewalk chalk belongs there.
Yeah, I agree. Sidewalk chalk. And I believe that Baby Nancy does too. I mean, obviously there's a lot of historical.
I don't know. I want to hear the snubs. I don't know if Baby Nancy does.
But Jenga got in. Jenga, which is it 2 decades old? Maybe it's 2 decades old.
It's okay, definitely.
But it beat out the likes
it might be 4 decades
of Light Bright. How does Light Bright not get in before Jenga?
So Light Bright's still not in the
just sitting on the outside looking in. Light Bright, for God's sakes. Bingo's not in the National Toy Hall of Fame. Jenga got in before Bingo. I don't know. There might be some corruption in the voting here. You might want to have to do an investigation, file a lawsuit into the National Toy Hall of Fame to see if these votes were counted accurately. My Little Pony still not in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
I can't believe that. I mean, okay, here's the thing, is you have had, now, not that I'm a huge My Little Pony fan, okay? But I think...
But it was big when we were kids.
I think it's big when...
It was the biggest.
It's big when my daughter's a kid right now.
They still have My Little Pony?
They still have it. They come out with movies. They've come out with multi-feature-length movies of My Little Pony. I think that once you come out with a feature-length movie about your toy, then that toy should garner consideration for the Toy Hall of Fame. Where are you at, Jenga? I don't see your movie.
How about the game of Risk? Or Sorry? Both. Got the sham, so Jenga could get in. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Jenga. But, I mean, come on. We're talking history here. We're talking these games. You can still buy these games in stores. These games have held the test of time. Yet they are not in the National Toy Hall of Fame. That's crazy.
Have you ever played Risk?
No.
Have you ever played Sorry?
No.
You played Jenga.
Well, because somebody bought me Jenga, Jeff. Hi, you're on the air. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Sorry.
See?
We got a lot of texts coming in right now. We'll say good morning again to Cameron, the intern from his home in Paso Robles. Have you ever played the game Sorry? Have you ever played the game Risk or the game Jenga?
I've played Sorry, and I think Jenga should go above Sorry, but not above Risk.
Oh, so have you played Risk?
No, but Risk has lasted longer.
Risk has been around a long time. But the funny thing is,
a long time.
It's been around a long time, but I swear, whenever I ask anybody if they've ever played Risk, they're like, no, it's too much of a time consumption. So it's like,
More than Monopoly?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
I think there are Risk games that last days.
I mean, there's been more times I said no to Monopoly because of the investment of time than yes. I used to love playing Monopoly.
See, I'm in that interesting position of I would totally be down to play Risk, but I don't have the friends to play it.
What do you mean by that? Like
he doesn't have any friends.
The type of people that
No. Like I don't I have friends who have the patience for like Dungeons and Dragons, but not for Risk.
Right. And so this is where like my next door neighbor, him and his son before I moved, they would play these games of Risk. And I talked to him and said, hey Steve, how's it going? He's like, oh, just playing a game of Risk. And then, like, 4 days later, I say, hey, Steve, how's it going? He's like, still playing that game of Risk. I'm like, damn, you guys are serious.
Risk, by the way, is 1957 was the inception of the game Risk. Let's see.
Sounds like
Sorry
kind of
around.
It sounds like kind of a fair a fun game. I mean, like if you could get into it and you have the investment. I mean, I'm surprised there was not this takeoff of risk playing during the beginning of the pandemic because everybody was told to stay at home.
And yeah, you had a lot of time.
You had a lot of time. Why not? Hey, let's fire up that game of Risk.
Now, according to Wikipedia, the game's inception was in 1929, but the game board didn't actually come out until the early 50s. And that's when, otherwise, I guess it was just a game you played. I don't know.
It sounds very similar to Cones of Dunshire.
That was a great makeup, by the way. So there you go. Once again, Baby Nancy's in, Sidewalk Chalk, and Jenga. That's all they took. That's it. No Light Bright, no Masters of the Universe, no He-Man. He-Man has to get in at least one day. Skeletor, Masters of the... Come on, that was the best. That was a great cartoon. It was a great game. I don't know what the game... It's not a game. It's a toy. I mean, my buddy had the castle. He had all the stuff. He was spoiled. My Little Pony, no Risk, no Sorry. And no Yahtzee, by the way.
Yahtzee should be in there. I'm sorry. Yahtzee's too fun.
Over Jenga, right?
Yeah.
Jenga is too young. Too young.
Remember, you scoffed at my idea and notion that the Cowboys could beat the Steelers, which they did not do. But man, that was an almost upset. I mean, the Cowboys,
I did not see a second of that game yesterday.
The Cowboys had the lead up until pretty much the end of the game.
What's the name of the quarterback? Gilbert? Was it Gilbert?
Yeah.
That came out? Mm-hmm. Who's this guy? Mm-hmm. What do you know about this guy?
I just know that the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they come off of a big win, tend to crap the bed when it comes to winning that next game.
Well,
especially when there's big favorites on the road.
Who did they tie with? Was that Philadelphia earlier in the year?
They didn't tie. It's a glitch on the Red Zone Challenge.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So they marked them down as a tie.
Philadelphia had a tie
there
game,
was
didn't
that
they?
game which they were forced to take their bye with the Tennessee Titans that was rescheduled, and they played it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I don't know why the Red Zone Challenge has them down as a tie, but they don't. They're still undefeated.
All right. Who had the tie game? Wasn't it Philadelphia and somebody else?
Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. So Pittsburgh is the only undefeated team in the NFL right now, and they get the win over Dallas, which they probably overlooked them a little bit. Probably Dallas was a little bit better than they realized because I mean you look at them on tape and on picture.
They're a National Football League team.
Terrible.
You know, I mean, I think they overlooked them exactly.
Yeah, Dallas probably could have beat the Seahawks yesterday. I bet you Dallas would have beat the Seahawks yesterday. I think anybody in the NFL could have beat the Seahawks yesterday. That was just a piss poor attempt. Which every
you
time
turn the ball over 4 times, and it's hard to win a football game.
Oh, I mean, God, Russell was getting blown up. The offensive line was atrocious. It was bad. But kudos to Josh Allen and what's Moss's? Is it Zach?
Sure.
Zach Moss?
Sure.
Whatever. Then they played well. They came to play. The Seahawks didn't, but we're not here to talk about the Seahawks. We're here to talk about tonight. We're here to talk about last night. Holy cow.
We're talking about the
you get
Chargers
Michael
and the
Thomas back on your team, and holy cow, I think it changes everything. Even though he didn't have a big game, as far as receptions or,
I think it was
yards or touchdowns, but just having him out there changes the dynamic of
So who's the better
offense.
Who's the better old guy quarterback? Is it Drew Brees or is it Tom Brady?
I'm going to go Drew Brees.
Yeah, but Tom Brady looked like crap last night.
He did. Yeah,
he looked
bad.
Terrible.
Tonight, New England, the Patriots travel to New York to take on the Jets. Earlier in the week, late last week, I said, I think this might be my upset of the week because I think the Jets might win this game. But I don't know, after doing a little bit more looking into it, it looks like Cam's done better the last couple of weeks, especially last week.
Is it in New York or is it in?
It's in New York.
It is in New York.
It is in New York. So that's up for grabs tonight.
I don't think they want to win though. Don't they want draft pick capital? The New York Jets. I mean, they've siphoned off all their pieces that could get them wins, and they're just going with a hodgepodge ragtag unit of nobodies, and that's the way they want it. They want to lose games.
Well, who are they competing for the worst schedule with?
Well, you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Washington, the football team.
The
Giants,
but they're
both have 2 wins.
But they're going to beat up on each other. So, they'll get some wins in the NFC least. And then, I think it's Jaguars, and I think it's possibly Houston Texans as well. They're getting rid of a lot of their pieces.
Let's see. If I remember right,
Maybe the Cowboys.
Cameron said that the Chicago Bears were going to beat the Tennessee Titans because Bears were tougher than Titans. Wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, how right am I?
Yeah, you're not right. You're wrong.
You were a little bit wrong.
24-17
I haven't looked
wrong.
at my picks yet. It looks like I was wrong on most fronts.
As was I.
God, I wonder why.
Have you ever returned something that wasn't yours? And why did you bring it back? It's a question we're asking you right now online. Our Facebook page is at Jeff and Jeremy. You can call or text in on the 805 beer lines at 805-543-3693.
I'm not understanding your question.
Have you ever returned something that wasn't yours?
Like what, you found it on the road or in a...
You could have found it. You could have stole it. It doesn't matter. Somebody could have gave it to you, and then you said, it's not mine. I'm going to give it back. It's just simple yes or no.
No, but the question's not simple, though. That's the problem.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm too complicated for you on a Monday.
Is this something I found? Is this something that was given to me?
It's just, have you ever returned something that wasn't yours? Let me tell you what. Some people online figured it out. Alan said, yes, I stole a bunch of stuff from a guy, and then I took it back to him.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd take it back if I stole it.
And then he said they were blown away when he brought it back. I don't think I would ever take something back that I stole.
Like with the cameras, we're going to take those back. I mean,
we couldn't take them back. If we took them back, we might have lost our jobs.
Mm-hmm. It was better just say, oh, I don't know what happened. Maybe we didn't lock up the place when we left. I don't know.
Should you be forgiven if you steal something and then take it back? Is there a time window?
I think people do forgive you. I think they have a propensity to forgive you more so if you were to take it back. But then you run that risk of somebody not forgiving you and then really getting you in trouble.
Bill writes in, he says, yes, because I borrowed it. Now, these are the real thieves, the people that borrow your stuff and they never give it back. And then you have to hound them for it. Or you forget about it. And then, I don't know, a year, months later, you're like, wait a second, didn't I give so-and-so that?
A couple months ago, I found a wallet. It was at the gas station. It was laying there on the ground like somebody dropped it. The person that was there before. Now, I took it into the gas station and gave it to the clerk and said, I found this wallet outside. And he's like, okay, thanks. But
that's probably the right thing to do.
But who's to say that the gas station attendant didn't rifle through the wallet and see if they could find anything in it that was worth any value? I didn't look. I didn't even look to see
because you didn't want to take the responsibility or the extra steps to actually find the person that got it. You figured it'll just be easier to give it to the attendant, right?
I should have.
I think that's a normal reaction.
That was stupid in the end because there was probably some kind of driver's license or something in that wallet, and I could have made sure that it got back to but once you hand it off to a third party, it's out of your hands at that point, which might have been why I did that, because I didn't want to get involved. Like, what if the person lived in Fresno or something, and I was like, oh, God, I'm going to get this to this person. You give them a call and mail it to them. That means I don't know. I don't mail a lot of things, especially bulky things like wallets. So then that's a little bit of a obstacle as well. So I just turned it over to the third party and hoped that they would take care of it because it's their job.
This is a total ethical question in so many different ways. I mean, whether you stole it, somebody left it behind. Has anybody ever come over to your house and maybe they brought some food for a party or a bank, whatever, potluck, and then they said, oh, I'll just get it later, and then they never came back and got their Tupperware or something else or their beer? I mean, obviously beer, I think you just either drink it or whatever.
Oh, I've had people show up.
A lot of people leave their booze
with the beer and then leave with the beer too. Which is fine, I guess. I mean, you brought it, but that's kind of weird.
Do you think people should have, if they bring beer to your party that you're throwing, if they don't drink it all, should they take it home?
If
See,
they
I
want
would
to.
I would like them to take it home because it's just more crap I have to deal with.
If they want to, that's fine. If they want to leave it, that's fine too. It doesn't matter either way, but it's just funny when you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to bring this beer.
Yeah, it is
I'm going to
funny.
drink my beer, and then whatever I don't drink, I'm going to go ahead and take it home with me. I feel like that's single guy move. Like single guys do
I've
that
done
all
this
the time.
before if I've brought in stuff to make a cocktail at a party. If I bring a fifth of some booze and I bring mixer and I have it all in a bag, and then usually whatever, if there's half the bottle left, I take it home. I don't leave it.
Yeah.
Should we be leaving whatever we don't drink or eat at a
I
party?
think so because it was nice enough of the host to leave it. I mean, to host the party.
So you should
this
reward
is
them
like
by
payment
leave them your
for it.
crap. Okay, good. That's good to
The
know.
last party I had, though,
I might be bringing all kinds of crap over to your next party and just leaving it there.
we had a Super Bowl party years ago, and man, I mean, we had so much food that we ended up throwing half of it out because you can't eat like a party can eat, right?
Right.
Like your family of 3 can't eat like a party can
Well, that's
eat.
why usually Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, a lot of times everybody takes home leftovers, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know my mom's big on making sure everybody get rid of all this food. I'm like, Mom, slow down. I want turkey sandwiches.
We're not big leftover people in our house, so
Your wife isn't.
yeah,
I know you've said that.
I am.
I love leftovers.
But we
Easy.
usually decline the leftovers when they're handed over to us. And that's fine because I'm not a big Thanksgiving food person anyway.
Oh, so you go to somebody's house, they're like, come on, let me give you some food. And you're like, no.
Always with
It
Thanksgiving.
was bad enough the first time.
No. No, I just don't want to deal with it. Like I'm not big into Thanksgiving foods anyways. I think Thanksgiving is so overrated.
Right.
I mean, like the turkey and the dressing and all that stuff. It's just not. It's not something I enjoy. I like the appetizers, like the salami wrapped asparagus and things like that. That's good, but that's it.
I told you about my friend who, him and his wife came to a birthday party. It was outside in Paso Robles. She was cold, and I just bought this light jacket from Costco. I think it was like $12 to $15. It was nothing, maybe $20. And I had it in my truck, and I said, well, hold on, let me get it. So I run out to the truck, I get the jacket, I bring it back, I give it to her. She's thankful. Oh, my God, thank you so much for letting me borrow this. Then they went home for the night. I've never seen the jacket again. Now, this guy lives around the corner from me. I know I'm going to see him. Every time he sees me bringing the trash cans out or getting the mail, he usually comes home about 5:30. That's when I check the mail. I've been looking for him because I'm ready to have a Curb Your Enthusiasm Larry David moment with him when he comes up and says, hey, how's things going? Pretty good. I was just looking for my jacket. I couldn't find it. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Maybe he's just forgotten.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Well, that happens. You really like the jacket? You can always go knock on his door and
I
say,
don't want the jacket.
or call him,
The,
or text him and say, where's the jacket that I loaned you 3
I don't
years
even
ago?
remember. I just remember it was a black jacket. It was a light jacket. I don't remember. I just get a kick out
For
of it.
you to hold the grudge, I think you enjoy holding the grudge more than you do the jacket.
Well, how's it gone
holding it
by?
over him?
What's that?
You like holding it over him?
Well, I haven't seen him. I've
Which is
seen him.
fine.
I've seen
Which
him
is fine.
like a couple times drive by.
I totally
say hi.
understand that because as somebody who likes to hold stuff over people's heads very often, I understand why you would want to do that. But I'm just saying that
I'm afraid it's been so long now. If I try to bring it up and try to be a smartass, which is my whole point, that
Right.
he won't even get it because he'll be like, "What are you talking
so
about?"
now it's gotten to
It's
the
gone
point-
too far.
It's gotten to the point where it's too late for you to even hold it over his head. Correct?
I'm afraid it has, and that bothers me more than anything. I
Right.
almost want to go get another jacket and do
loan
this
it
to
him
somebody
again.
else.
No, loan it to him again and say,
you
this
lost
is the
your
second
power.
jacket.
What's that?
You've lost your power.
I really have. And the thing is, he's the nicest guy. So I'm not going to, I can't. Why can't he be a jerk? Then I would love bringing it up. Let's see. Twisted Glaze fan writes in. He says,
Whenever there's a pause like that on the program and Jeremy's speaking, just know that he is checking a text message on his watch, like he's Inspector Gadget.
well,
or
I looked
something.
down and I saw it was from my wife. And I thought maybe she was going to say, hey, so-and-so probably. Twisted Glaze fan writes in. He says, I returned a $100 bill that I found. I knew who the owner was.
I've done that before, too. And I did not know who the owner was, and I just happened to be in the 4-H section of the fair. It was on the ground. I said, oh, this would be bad if a kid went without a $100 bill. Gave it to a mom. When I gave it to the mom, she looked clueless as to who it could have belonged to. And I was like, why'd I give it to that mom?
I've got another dilemma. This just reminded me of this, and I forgot about it because I put the money away. I found some money in our guest room. 3 different people have stayed in our guest room, and I'm trying to decide if I should just keep the money or if I should give it back. We'll get into all the details.
How much?
Coming up, all right? I found some money in our guest room. 3 different people have stayed in that guest room over the past 6 months. It has to be one of these 3 people. Should I try to figure out who it is, or should I keep it?
Man, I can't wait to find out how much it is.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.